Hi, my Libra friends. Thank you for joining me for the Libra astrology monthly forecast for November 2024. Welcome. And this month is going to be a very interesting month. It might not feel that great, especially with what's happening in the beginning of the month, but trust me, things will change in your life after this. And, when you look back, a long time down the road, next year or whenever, um, you're going to be able to, if you were to write it down, what you were thinking at this time and what you were planning and what you were starting at this time, you will be able to point a finger back and say, that was when all this started. Because things will transform in your life. Different things will start happening at this point. There's a lot of change coming in this month and this is a very powerful month, probably the most powerful month of the year. Like I said, it might not feel good right now, especially at the beginning of the month with a Mars Pluto opposition, but it will be very profound in your life. Sometimes sometimes change just doesn't feel that good, and there's going to be a lot of change started and initiated this month. Um, so the month starts out on November 1st with the Scorpio new moon, and on the same day, Pluto, which is the modern ruler of Scorpio, will oppose Mars. And that can feel like a really difficult energy. I mean, on the good side, it could actually help motivate you to some end to start something that you need to, but it's more likely to be felt as power struggles or intense arguments or fights, um, even aggression or even frustration. So just be very careful not to start any fights because it could get it could get really blown out of a proportion and become a lot bigger than you expect. So it's best to walk away even when something is really annoying you or something is really getting you upset. It's best to just walk away and think about it later because it might look very different at a later date. And then Mercury will be, and which is in Scorpio also, is going to trine Mars and sextile Pluto. And this can bring up deep psychological issues. Um, and Mercury can really help with this energy because it is in positive aspect to both Mars and Pluto. And Mercury is about communication. Um, so but you have to remember that the first step for transformation, and that's really what Pluto and Scorpio want, is you to look at what needs to be transformed in your life. The first step of transformation is letting go of something because you can't change anything if everything stays the same. You have to let go of something in order to initiate that change. And sometimes if you don't, especially with Pluto going into Aquarius this month and staying there for the next 20 years, if you don't initiate that change, you could just have to keep revisiting this over and over and over until you do make that change and let go of what is not working for you anymore. Then Mercury will go into Sagittarius on November 2nd. And that's likely to bring in more finances or help you earn more money. And then Venus and Sagittarius will trine Chiron in Aries on November 5th. And this can be a healing energy, especially in the area of work, health, pets, service to others, daily routines. Then Venus will oppose Jupiter in Gemini on the same day. And I think November 5th is probably going to be one of the best days of the month as far as how it makes us feel, because it will make us probably pretty hopeful and joyful even. And it can be really helpful to you around finances as well. And then Venus will square Neptune on November 9th. And there might be things that you're not aware of around the home, things that are hidden from you, things, secrets that are people are hiding from you at home. And also maybe around long-term relationships as well. Just be aware that you do have, you might not have all the information, and or you might be looking at things with rose-colored glasses. And so later on it might bite you. Then Venus will go into Capricorn on November 11th. And that could just bring, really good loving energy around children or lovers, and maybe help stabilize these relationships as well. Then Mercury will go into Saturn or square Saturn on November 12th. And that can bring slowdowns, or, it can block things. It can kind of mess up plans that we had. And especially around neighbors, siblings, and our like daily commuting or our transportation. And then on the 14th, Venus will square the North Node in Aries, and Mars will trine the North Node in Aries. And that can really help us, be motivated to be ourselves more. And, really do what we want to do instead of what we've been told our whole life that we need to do. It's better to follow your own path, and this might be able to help you get on the right path. And then the full moon in Taurus on November 15th. A full moon in Taurus should be stabilizing and grounding, but because the moon is conjunct Uranus, that's probably going to bring sudden changes and maybe instability in some way, but definitely surprises around our beliefs, or your beliefs, higher learning, teaching, or traveling. And then the sun will square Neptune on November 18th. And that could just, bring a focus to or shine a light on things that maybe have been hidden around neighborhood, siblings, cars, or transportation. And then on the 18th, Mercury will trine Chiron, and that can help us heal wounds around through communication. And, especially wounds around money, finances, and debt, taxes, or the money you get from other people, like inheritance or money from your business. And then on November 19th, Pluto will go back into Aquarius, and we will never see Pluto in Aquarius in Capricorn again in our lifetime. So it will be done with Capricorn for the next 250 years, approximately. And then for the next 20 years, we're going to be focusing more on transforming the area of health, work, service to others, pets. And so you might see transformation in that area. And then on November 21st, the sun will sextile Pluto. And that can bring hidden things into the light, especially where it comes to health, work, and pets, and daily routines. And then Venus will sextile Saturn on the same day, which Saturn, that usually will bring in restrictions around, love relationships, children, or relationships with children, or communication with children. And then Mercury will go retrograde in Sagittarius on November 25th. Until December 15th, it will finally go direct. And this could be a little bit easier retrograde because it is in Sagittarius. Although Mercury is not really happy in Sagittarius though. So the thing is, from the 9th on is really kind of when we're going to be affected by this Mercury retrograde, because whenever Mercury, so what basically a Mercury retrograde is when it goes backwards from our eye, from how we see the planet from Earth, or it appears to go backwards in the sky, for about 3 weeks. And when it finishes retrograde on December 15th, it will be back at the spot it was at on November 9th. So that's why it's called the pre-shadow, because that's where Mercury will go retrograde back to. So between where it is on November 9th and where it is on November 25th, that area of the chart, Mercury's going to go back over like 3 times. So that means adjusting, redoing things, reworking things, rethinking things, is kind of going to be the scenario, especially things that we do at home or with real estate or family. And that's pretty much all I have. Please like or subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and visit my website at logicalastrology.com, because there's a whole bunch of free things there. There's more information on weekly readings and monthly readings. You can get a lot more information than what I just gave you on the weekly and the monthly readings. You can get times. It will show you the times that these aspects are going to be felt the most and all that kind of stuff. And you can also book a reading with me if you want to there. If you want somebody to look at your own chart and see which of these aspects are going to be the most potent for you. And sometimes you don't even feel the aspects if they're not really aspecting anything in your natal chart. So it's good to look at the natal chart and compare it with what's happening to see how powerfully everything is going to affect you and in what way it's going to affect you. Anyway, logicalastrology.com if you want to check that out. And have a great month, and I will see you next month.